coded. It's actually a barcode. And I want the barcode to come out really. If you don't let Power BI know that it's a barcode, it will not manage it for you as a barcode. The same thing applies to longitude, latitude. If you have some data that has to do with longitude and latitude, if you don't instruct Power BI that they actually longitude and latitude, Power BI will mess it up for you. You will use it for calculation in your work. So all those things, we need to get used to them. I will not do it from here. You can equally do that from, okay, where is that column? Let me select the column here. From there, you will see your column tools. The column tools will show up here. This is the same thing here, data category. Drop it down and say this category of data is actually image URL. So just get that one done and you'll be able to answer one out of the few things we're going to look at today. Maybe I made it image URL. Can you see that the story is changing immediately? So please let us learn to use our image to tell our story. So now that I have this, I can tell my story that look, this is happening here. This is the flag of this country. This is the flag of this country, and so on and so forth. Now, this is just first part. The second part, let's try to look for a data that we can tell a story with and quickly tell a nice story. So let me see. Let me go online. Google. I need this site that is talking about COVID-19 world, okay, world COVID-19 updates. Let me be sure I have a good data set I can work with there. If I have a good data set, I will quickly call it up from the web so that if it's updated, I will have my updated information immediately. Come on. Okay, it's loading. Okay, good. I want to be sure that I have a column for country for the purpose of relationship. I have a column for total case and population is even there. Wow, this is a nice story. I wish there's capital there, the capital of each country. Okay, without wasting much time, let's grab this. All I need to do, I don't need to copy this page. Just copy the URL, Control C. I'm going back to my Power BI. Yes, my mouse is responding now. Power BI, please, I need another data. Get data for me. Get it from the web. What is the URL? This is the URL. I'm okay. Come on. Thank you. It's responding. Connect to that URL. Come on, give me the data set. 322. Okay. So this is going. Okay. So come on, great. Where's my data sets? Power BI, please. So why are you taking this long time today now? Come on. Oh, at last. Okay. So with what I have here, I would like to tell a story about the population of a particular country with the number of cases they have and probably maybe the number of deaths. And as I'm doing that, I may want to do it in different pages and have some nice button, image button that will allow me go into each of those pages to tell the story. I can have a page that will narrate detailed information that also allow me to do things like drill through. Okay. Is it my network? Power BI, why are you treating me like this today? Okay, let's see what I have here. Table 1. Oh, great. This is what I'm looking for. I can see the country. I can see US, South America, India, Brazil. Okay, I can see lots of things here. So I think I am okay with this. I'm okay with this. So please, table 1 is what I'm using. Transform this table set for me. Transform. And please, most of us, if you get data that is pulled from our ERP application, or somebody send the data to you, be very, very careful. This data I'm looking at, I can see world here. The figure here is the total for all. I can see continent names here. I can see North America, I can see South America, I can see Africa. I will tell Power BI anywhere with null here, take them out. Otherwise, there'll be a duplicate in my data entry. I hope you will have a better understanding of what I'm trying to do there. Take out those ones with null. Good. The story is coming out neat. So what else did I need? I don't really need all the columns. I need this column for the country. I need, let me just select the columns needed. Hold down Control key. I also need this column. New cases, I don't need it. Total debt, I need it. There is a column for population somewhere. Where is that? Population. Aha, I need the population. Okay, the continent, don't worry about that. I want to keep it simple because of time. So I need just this column. Every other column should go. So what will I do? I will say remove column. Remove other columns and leave just those few columns that I need. Great. Now with what I have here, the column, this should be country. Just make it country and keep it simple. Make it country, keep it simple. This is total cases, total debt, and population. So at this point, call this, what should I call this table? COVID status. Okay, close and apply. Close and apply. Now with this, my data set is coming in. Power BI, can't you double your speed, please? Okay, so Power BI is loading my data sets. So I'm loading all my data sets in. Great. I have this data set loaded, but I have country here. I have country here. Let me go to my model and be sure I have a nice relationship between the two data sets. Drag country to meet country. Good. So it's telling me it's a one-on-one relationship. Okay, no problem. Let's tell a story. Now, let me tell a story on another page. On this page, give me all the country that we have on COVID. Select country. And the country by default, if you refuse to come as a map, don't forget what I showed to you the other time. Just select country, come here. Sometimes you are struggling. They are not coming the way they're supposed to come. Just come here and say, look, that country is actually a country. So you don't have cause for alarm. It will definitely come on a map and as a country. So that is that. Now, these are the countries as we have it there. So all across, and I can see, I don't know which country is this. So let me just leave it that way. So we have this information, and based on this information, I want to tell a story. How many, look at Russia. I want to have the number of cases in Russia. I want you to show. And show me the flag of Russia as I'm pointing to it. So let me go to the tooltip. Most of us, we know how to use this tooltip. But let's take it to the next level. Tooltip, population, bring it to tooltip. bring the total cases to 2tip, bring the total deaths to 2tip, and bring the image URL also to 2tip. Now, let me point to Russia again. Look at what it's telling me. Population in Russia, I can't call that figure. So we need to model this guy very well. Population, anytime I'm talking about population, always give me command so that I can easily pronounce it. Good. Anytime I'm talking about total cases, put command there for me as well. Good. Anytime I'm talking about total deaths, put command there for me. Let me see. Good. So let me point to Russia again. As we have it there, the population in Russia is 145,993,575, out of which 5,193,964 had these COVID-19 cases, and we lost 126,073 to death. Now, where is the flag? I can't see the picture. This story is not too good. I wish I can tell this story in a more better way. Let me come to my country, Nigeria. Nigeria, we are 210 million, 167,000 cases were affected, and the total death is this. Now, how can I take this to another level for a nice storytelling? Now, I need another page. This page, I will come to format and say Power BI, the size of this page should not be a normal size. The standard size is 16:9. Most of us, that's what we use by default. But I'll say no, I need a size maybe 4:3, or a size like a letter. That is the size of the paper we print, or a custom size that can allow me define this width and the length. But I want a size like a 2tip, because I'm trying to beautify these 2tips so that when I'm telling a story, everybody will like that story. So I'll come back here and say, you know what, give it to me like a 2tip. Now, once I say give it to me like a 2tip, I have this box pop up. Now, what do you want on? I can't use this whole part again. I can only use this small place. This is now my visual. So what do I want on this screen? Number one, can you give that screen a nice background? Can you give it a nice dull background? Transparency, make it, oh, this is too, I think it's not bad. Make it 0 as transparency. Good. Now on this, can you have a card? Okay, can we have a card? On the card, please, can you help me drop? Can you help me drop on this card where is that again? The name of the country. Good. Drop the name of the country on the card. I don't want the category to show. Say category, please go off. I just want the name of the country. Some country may be, if the characters will be longer than this, can you help me work on the character? Where is the data label? 45 looks too much. Let's just keep it at 20 something, 26. So let's use this. So come here. Should I give it a background? So let me say background. Don't give it a background. Good. And make the data label. Why not make the data label color white? I'm just trying to play with color here. So the background of my work itself be darker. Come back there. The paper background. Can you come a little darker than what we have previously? Good. I think this is, let it be black like charcoal. I think I love this, and the game is getting more interesting. Good. Now, the only thing I did here is I came to a new page, not like a regular page. Look at my regular page, but this page is actually, I converted the page size to a 2tip. And after that, I said I want the name of the country to show up there. I want to have the population, the cases, and the deaths. Let me have it as a pie chart. Bring a pie chart to my work. On my pie chart, let me have the cases and also the deaths. So from here, we can see the ratio of the cases to deaths. This looks good. So let me just beautify this and make it come out neat. The detail, let's work on the legend. I don't want a legend on this work. Title, I don't need a title. Oh, they will know what we're talking about there. Okay, the label detail, give it all so that it can show all the information for us. Good. And make it simple here. Instead of total cases, everybody know what you mean. Just change the name on this visual. Rename for this visual. Just call it cases. And also for this, rename it on this visual and call it deaths. Everybody should understand this. So this is the total cases and deaths. Let me make it a little bit smaller. Okay, this is good. This is good. I think this is good. I will work with this. The background. Can I also work on the background for this? Turn off the background. Oh, and my data label. Where's my data label? The data label should come in pure white. Okay, I think my story is getting better. The label can be a little bit bigger than what I have there. Okay, so good. Now with what I have, I've been able to show these two. I also need to show the population we have there and also the what? The flag of the country. What will I do? Let me bring, this time, let me come with a multiple row card. This will work for me here. A multiple row card. On the multiple row card, let me have the population of the country, and also let me have the image URL. Because the image URL, I've already made it what's it called? I've converted it to image URL. That is why it's showing me this. So format this as well. Background, take out the background. Oh, and the data label, make it pure white. Okay. Oh, and the category, work on the category. The category, make it pure white. Okay. I don't need, let me see how this looks. Okay. Because of time, permit me to leave this like this. Let me see if I can reduce this guy a little bit. Let me see, and give this more room for visibility. Take it up a little bit. Okay, now let me leave it this way. Now I've been able to do what we call my tooltip. I will come back to my work here. I want to tell a story. I want to tell a story telling them different parts of the continent, what is happening, and so on and so forth. So the next thing I'm going to do now is, let's see how I would have brought in the continent to have a nice image filter here, but let's just go on with what I have presently. I want my tooltip. I don't want it like this anymore. I want it to be much more interesting, to come out with lots of visuals. So what will I do at those points? So at those points, let's come to the, still on this visual. So on my visual here, I don't need all these tooltip here. So don't bother, I don't need you. So don't stress yourself. Right here, let me run through and come to tooltip, drop down the tooltip. The tooltip type is actually either default, that's what you have, or a report page. Is a page on my report. That's the type of tooltip I want. What is the page? So I also need to specify my tooltip page. So let me call it tooltip. Okay, let me call it tooltip. So let's come back here. Okay. So tooltip, page information is also a tooltip. So under the page information, please, you are actually a tooltip. So let me go back to my screen here, select the screen, and under my format, where is that tooltip again? Tooltip, it is on, is actually a report page, and there's a page I call tooltip. Let me select it. And during my storytelling, I can come here and say, in Russia, the population in Russia is 145,000,993, and the number of deaths is so. Why the number of this is this? Let me see in Nigeria. In Nigeria, our population is 210,932,837, and so on and so on. So let me see United States of America. Oh, USA is telling me blank. Maybe we did a relationship. Maybe on the other one it was spelled in full, and on the other table it was just USA. Let me quickly do a confirmation why that refused to work. So for this, USA, where is U? So here is United States. Let me come to the second table, which is the COVID table. In COVID table is USA. That is why I will not have anything come up from there. So once there is no proper alignment, this is Canada. So Canada population is this, and that is what we have there. So we can go on and on to build what we call, let me have a slicer. I love this visual. Let me quickly go on and grab a visual there that is nice when I'm using it to build things around slicers. Come on. So this is loading. Let's give it time. The name of the slicer is actually called Chiclet Slicer. Okay, I'm happy I have this. Help me look for CHI. I hope I get, just say slicer. Slicer. Enter. Okay, this is the slicer. I need it on my work. It's a nice slicer that can help your image and you tell a nice story with it. Good. Thank you for bringing this for me. And anytime you bring in a new visual to your work, you can right click and pin it to your visual pin. But I just want to use this for demo. So good. On this, what did I want to show? On the category is actually country. Why the image is the image URL. Good. This is more like a what? Like a slicer. So he has shown me all the map. I can just come here and click Indian. It will take me to Indian. Nigeria. Nigeria is my fatherland. Where are thou? It's a unique flag. Oh, great. In the middle, Nigeria is there. I can come here as I point, it's giving me the detail. So because of time, this is 3:43. I want us to ask questions and we close the section at this point. Any question for me?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Any question? Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, so on that place where you saw United States and on the COVID list, it was USA. Can it be edited so that it can match each other?
Oh, I love that. It can actually be edited. So I will quickly show you how to go about it and we get it up and running. So TJ, can we have you?
So my question is that can you please explain if, for instance, I have created a GitHub account and I need to be storing my work on the GitHub account. Can you please explain how I can be populating the account so that I don't need to tell people, okay, this is what I've done. They can always get the URL and go and see my work.
Oh, TJ, that is a nice question. Please, this question TJ asked us, I want to employ all of us. If you are a developer, Power BI developer, whatsoever you do, GitHub is a place where you can easily showcase what you do. And I would like to recommend all of us to have a GitHub account, and let's see how this can help us. I don't know what we are doing. It's Shooks on the call. I don't know who is taking next week's section. I'll be glad to take us on GitHub next Saturday. So that all of us can start to showcase ourselves. If you want to get good job out there, you want to project yourself, GitHub is a tool that you can use. So TJ, permit us to take this section, the GitHub section. So maybe we title it Power BI and GitHub for better productivity. I don't know, we tag it a name, but most likely next week, we are going to deal with that inside out. Thank you very much, TJ. So Alabi, can we have you?
Okay, thank you for the presentation, sir. Please, I just want to clarify, when you started with the table, when you drop the table on the chat, you picked the country and it reflected Afghanistan. Does it mean that it was only Afghanistan you picked when you selected from the map, or it will automatically bring Afghanistan as the first country?
Because Afghanistan is the first country, that is why it came as a first country. And mind you, it's a tooltip. Mind you, the work is actually a tooltip. So the story is so clear that, look, if I point to anything, tooltip will only talk about that thing alone. So if it's talking about Nigeria alone, Nigeria is #1 on the list. Do you get my point? So that is why, because it's coming as a tooltip, I don't need to filter, it's automatic filtering. So if I point to it, it will tell me what is happening. And let me quickly answer the first question that says, can't we reconcile this issue of USA and from here is United? Where are thou again? Here is United States, there is USA. Now, what will I do? I can quickly come back to my ETL process, ETL transform, and go back to my transform process. Under my transform process, what do I need under transform process? All I need here, this one has United States. Let me just locate United States here. United States, where are the United States? Right click on United States and say replace the value. Let United States be USA. I am okay. Good. Now I have USA there. I have USA there. So all I need is close and apply. Once I say close and apply, this will take me back to my Power BI screen. Good. It's loading this. So it has taken me back to my Power BI screen. Now, where is the USA here now? Okay. So clear my filter. Hey, please, you can unmute yourself. Please mute yourself so that we can hear this. There's a background noise. Thank you very much. Where's my Nigeria here? Nigeria, USA. Help me, please.
That's USA. To the right.
Oh, thank you, USA. Now, if I come here and point to USA here, this time the map will come up because on both two, where is it? Here is now USA, IJKLMN, USA, yeah, and also on the COVID status is also USA. So the relationship is actually connected together, and I can actually point to it to tell me what is going on. Mexico, let me see the place that is in this water here. Hey, I don't know all these countries here. Madagascar is here, and so on and so forth. So thank you very much. Any other question for me before I hand over to Shooks, our coordinator? So, Alabi, I hope I've answered your question. Pat, I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, we appreciate you all for joining us in today's section where we look at telling story with what images, but there are lots you can still read more around images to tell more story. And please, let's see how we can build up on what we've learned today and beautify our work in Power BI. You can do a lot of things around menu, slicers. Let me see. You can insert shapes and you can insert images on your work to make your work much more interesting. But please, if you want to build a button, don't use shape, use your button. I want a blank button so that the blank button, let me bring it here. If anybody click on it, it will take me to page 1. What did I want on the blank button? The blank button, can you give me image on you? Where is that? I need image. Okay, give me a background. Where is my image? I can't see my image here. Come on, come on, come on, come
Button
on.
is off. Button is off.
I can't. Okay. So where is my image URL? Oh, why am I not getting my image URL? I want to actually add image to what I have here. So this is not coming up as expected. This is not coming up as expected. So let me see. Okay. But if I want to use image, but I prefer using button instead of image. I prefer using button instead of image. And on my button, I can easily tell what exactly I want to do with it. So these are good ways. And once you have your button or your image on your work, under this place, tell it the action should be put on, and the action should be, I want the action to be a page navigation. Which page should I go to? Go to page 1. So if anybody is viewing your visual and they see this, they can just click on it. When they click, it takes them to page 1. You can have another button here to take them to the map page, or you can come there manually and click on this. So all these tips, they are handy and useful anytime we need them in our data visualization and storytelling. So thank you very much. So over to you, Shooks. Oh, TJ, I can see your hand up.
Hello, sir. Before you go, sir, you are struggling to drop this data that you use for us. You know,
Yes.
so that at least what we are learning can stick. Can you please do what you can to drop it so that at least let us try and replicate what you have done, so that it will not just come in and go away like that.
Okay, so no problem. So let me see what I can do around that. So under my files, confirm that you can see it. Under my file, share a file with my guys. Come on. Share now. Upload this from my system. Go to images, country flag. The other one, I got that from the internet. So I can drop the URL I use. I got that somewhere from the net. I got this Control-C from the internet. Go back to my meeting charts. Good. And drop it there for us. Good. So can you see the URL? And by now, the image,
Yes,
the Excel file should come up very soon. You have on our meeting chat a form for us. Please pick up the form and fill it. So, okay, good. You have the file now. That's the shared file. And pick up the form and quickly fill the form. And at this point, I will hand over to the coordinator. Shooks, are you on call?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so Shooks, over to you. TJ, your hand is still up. I hope there's no other question from your end. If there's none, you can lower your hands. If there is any, quickly ask before Shooks take over.
No questions, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, Shooks, over to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Deji, for today's section.
Collins.
And hello?
Okay, sorry, Shooks, just a minute. Mr. Collins' hand is up. So can we have your question, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Sir.
Hello, Mr. Collins. We lost you. We can't hear you again.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes,
go ahead. We can hear you.
Yes, I said apart from the flag, can you bring images of people? How do you get to images? Or how do I get? Assuming I want your image on my dashboard, how do I get it?
Okay.
Your picture.
Now, if you want to just put a picture on the dashboard,
your picture,
just a picture, a static picture.
Yes.
Just insert a picture and bring your picture in. Just a static picture. It's as simple as that. But if you have the image URL, maybe the picture is somewhere on the internet. If the picture is somewhere on the internet, google.com. Please, let's quickly fill the feedback form. Ayodeji Folarin. Okay. Good. Ayodeji Folarin, show me images. Now, great. Now, if I need this picture, for example, all I need is the URL, image link. The other one is the real image. This is the image link. Let me copy the image link. Let me just come to Power BI and dump it somewhere for us to just see the image link. Okay, test boss. Drop. Control V. Oh, this link is even bigger than what I expected. So the image link is just a link that will take you to this picture. The link to this picture, that's what we talk about. So once you can grab the link, you are good to go. So that is, once you have the image URL, that is all. You can easily copy it and make use of it in your list. But that URL I'm seeing is longer than the expected URL. So, but I hope you have an understanding of what I'm trying to do, Mr. Collins.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so you can either go with the real image or you copy the image URL. So thank you very much. So Shooks, over to you.
Well explained that you can get the image. I said I just want it well explained. You can get the image and you also can get it from the internet. And I believe they will both do the same thing.
You can grab it from your system. You can grab it from the net. So from the net is the URL you need. From the system is the image file. You can even work with the URL also on your local system. So you just direct the URL to your local, to the path on your system. So that's another thing. Okay, thank you very much for your question. So Shooks, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deji, for the insightful section that we have all witnessed today. And hopefully by next week, we will also be having Mr. Deji back on board in order to give us more information on how we can utilize GitHub, on how we can utilize our GitHub account in collaboration with Power BI, so that whatever project you do, you'll be able to place it there on GitHub. So instead of, so that people will be able to have access to your project on GitHub. So please, everyone should try as much as possible to fill the feedback form. It's important. The link has been dropped on the meeting chat. So it is important to this community that we fill this. So hopefully next week, same time, we'll be expecting all of you and more of you. Okay. So